Hello everyone, Denise here. Today we are going to be making these just behaving gnomes. Let's get started. Alright, so I want to talk a little bit about materials for the project. We will need yarn, of course. I used worsted weight for all of my gnomes. You can choose if you want a smaller weight yarn or a larger weight yarn. If you choose a smaller weight yarn, you will have a smaller gnome unless you work more rounds or rows. If you use a larger weight yarn, your project will be larger if you use a larger weight yarn. So they do have just chenille at the dollar store at Dollar Tree, but I didn't use just chenille because our Dollar Trees only have pretty much black and white, and I didn't want to do part of the project with heavier yarn and then switch to the lighter yarn. I just decided to use all worsted weight. So what I have here in front of me is the yarn that I used for the gnomes in the picture. There are many colors at Dollar Tree. These are all $1.25 each. They all have different yardages, and there are some that are called Just Active. Let me see if I have any here. None of these are Just Active. So there is a Just Active. It is a light blue. I was using it for a tutorial. This is also worsted weight for, so it would work just fine with these. So if you wanted to pick up any of the Just Actives, you sure can. They're a little bit different in content. They're 80% polyester and 20% acrylic. And the Just yarn worsted is 100% acrylic. So they didn't have at my Dollar Trees, and there are several in our city, they did not have anything that would work for a skin color really at all. So that is why I picked up this color right here, and it is called Petal. It's like a real light pink peachy color. So that is what I chose for the skin color. I think it works pretty well. Really nothing else would work. I mean, there wasn't even any tan. Like there wasn't, our Dollar Trees are not very stocked, and if they were stocked, then they all got bought, which is understandable. But when I looked those few days that I went to Dollar Trees, I could not find anything that was going to work for skin color except the petal color. So it's up to you, whatever color scheme that you are looking to match, if you're making these as gifts, or if you're going to match your home, or if you want them to be seasonal, like if you want them to be spring colors, summer colors, fall colors, it's up to you. There are many colors to choose from at Dollar Tree. And if you are struggling, just use whatever you have. You know, if you have colors that will work fine for the skin color for the gnomes, go ahead and use them. You don't have to use the yarn that I'm saying. I just thought it was a really good deal. For $1.25 each, I used 6 colors, 8 colors. If I were to buy 8 colors of full skeins of yarn, I would have spent a lot more than I did at Dollar Tree. So that is the first part, is the yarn. I chose 3 different colors for each gnome. So Speak No is, what is he? He is the gray tweed. Gray tweed. That is the Speak No. His hat is called Terracotta, I believe. Yeah, Terracotta. Okay, and then here, no. His base is the dark gray, and that is called Slate. And his hat is like the mustard yellow, which is called Mustard. Okay, and then Sino, his body is made out of tweed as well, and it is, I think it's called grayish because it's gray beige. kind of a cool color actually. Grayish tweed. And then his hat is green, and that color is called Leaf. But there are many different colors there, like I said. You could choose whatever you want. Each beard is the same. It is made out of the light gray, and that light gray is called Mist. And then, like I said, their hands and their noses are made out of petal. So those are all the colors I chose. I am not going to probably use the same colors for the hats. I will probably use the same color for the beard for the tutorial. And I'll think about the bodies here because I do have some more yarns, and I'm not sure if I want to. I'm pretty sure this is the only one I have of the gray, so I'm pretty sure I don't have enough of that. And that's not because it took that much, it's because of trying and retrying and trying and retrying. So pretty much this is what's left of the hats. The hat yarn. Those two are in balls, this is not. So it doesn't take a lot of the yarn. You could probably get 2 sets of Gnomes plus out of these if you were to use the same colors. So let me take a look at my colors and I will decide if I'm going to make the bodies the same color. All right, so I have chosen my colors. I'm going to do the body of my, just gonna do one gnome, and I will show you how to place the arms on the one that I make for the tutorial, because I don't need to make all 3, but I thought I would make one for my office to sit on my desk. So this is denim tweed. I'm going to use that for the body, and I'm going to use the Mist, the light gray, for the beard. I'm going to use petal for the skin color, and then I do have some of the plush yarn that they have. I have a mustard color, and then I have this one, and this one is burgundy. It's also worsted weight 4. So let me grab the other one. Okay, so this is the yellow one. It is called Sunflower. So they do have just yarn plush at Dollar Tree. So there's chenille, there's the plus, there's the just yarn worsted, and there's the just active, which is also a worsted weight. So keep that in mind when you go. That will work as well. All right, now for the other things that you will need for this. If you want, you can buy some rocks at Dollar Tree. They have clear glass ones. They have many to choose from in their flower row. I picked up a bag of white rock because there was quite a bit of rock in there. I used enough to do 3 to keep them stable, and there's probably enough in here to do 3 more. Depends on how much you want to use. If you do not want to have any weight on your gnomes, you do not need to have this. You will need to have some fiber fill or something to fill your gnomes. I have had this for quite a while. I bought it at Goodwill. It was $1.75. Usually this stuff lasts me forever, and it always excites me when I get to use some of it up. So I get to use some of it up making these, so that makes me happy. But any fill, like if you want to use yarn scraps from old projects, you sure can. Whatever, an old pillow, I mean, it does not matter. Just whatever to fill and fill out your gnome's body and hat. Other than that, that is all we need for this project. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the body. And the body, I used a 4.5 millimeter hook. And that doesn't change except for the beard. I did use a larger hook, but I think I will go ahead and do it in the smaller hook just to see the difference. This one has, the denim has 98 yards in it. Okay, the petal has 109. Mist has 109, and the plush has 106. So it does vary on what you buy, what yardage you get. If I'm beginning here. And I want you to know this yarn is very nice. It is great quality yarn. I just want to say that straight up. You would think that buying something at Dollar Tree you would get lesser, but this is a quality yarn. So good job, Premier, for putting this in Dollar Trees for people. So I'm going to start mine with the magic ring. If you do not like using the magic ring, that's fine. Go ahead, do chain 4 and join. This is how I do my magic ring. I cross over my fingers like this, stick the hook in, grab a loop, reposition this yarn so that the working yarn is in my other hand. I hold this tail along with my stitches so that I can cinch it. So I'm going to chain 1 to secure it, and then I'm going to put 8 single crochets in the ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to cinch that, close it up. I am going to slip stitch into my first single crochet. Now if you need a stitch marker here to start showing where your rounds are, you're more than welcome to. I will grab one. All right, found a stitch marker. So that was round 1. We're going to do round 2. We're going to chain 1. We're going to single crochet in the same spot 2 times. So 1 and 2. And going to mark that first stitch. First single crochet, so I know where I'm going to slip stitch into. Now we're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch all the way around. Your round 1 had 8 single crochets. This round we're going to have 16 because we're doubling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Slip stitch to your beginning single crochet that you have marked. You finished round 2. Now you're going to go on to round 3. Chain 1. Going to put 2 single crochet in this first space again because we're continuing to increase. Going to mark our first single crochet with our stitch marker. And then in the next space we're going to put a single crochet, just one of them. And then in the next stitch we're going to put 2 single crochet, and then 1, and then 2, and then 1, and then 2. We're going to do that all the way around. At the end of round 3, we will have 24 stitches, and we will slip stitch into the first single crochet that we had marked. And a chain 1. We're going to start round 4. Round 4, we're going to put 2 single crochets in that same space because we're going to continue increasing. We're going to mark our first single crochet so we know which stitch to go into when we come back around. And then we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and in the next stitch 1 single crochet. In the next stitch we're going to do 2. In the next 2 stitches we're going to do 1 single crochet each. And then in the next 2 single crochets. And we're going to repeat that all the way around just like we're doing a hat. I'm going to count my stitches, make sure I didn't get off any. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. 32 is the number that we want for round 4. We're going to slip stitch into our first single crochet. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to start round 5. We're going to put 2 single crochets in that same space as our chain 1. We're going to mark our first single crochet. And then we're going to increase as if we're increasing a hat. So in this round, we're going to do 3 single crochets in between our increases. So first stitch is 2 single crochets, and then we'll have 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and 1 single crochet. And then we will be doing 2 single crochets. And then 1, 1, 1, and then 2. At the end of round 5. So this is the bottom of my gnome. Now I'm going to work up the sides of the gnome, and there will no longer be increasing now. So I will work up the sides of the gnome until the gnome measures about 3 inches. Each round at this point will be exactly the same. We will chain 1 and put 1 single crochet in that same space. I'm going to mark that. And then in each stitch all the way around, we will do 1 single crochet. Okay, I'm at 3 inches on my gnome body, so I am going to set it aside for now, and I am going to start the beard. The beard, I am using the color Mist. I'm also going to give the 4.5 mm hook a whirl here. On the pattern when I did the beard, I used a 5.5. I don't know why I did. I know that's what the yarn calls for, and it works. On the gnomes, it works. I'm just wondering if instead of changing the hook, we can go ahead and use the 4.5 throughout. So I'm going to try it. We'll see if it fits and go from there. So with this, we are going to start with a slip knot, and we're going to chain 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put a popcorn in this next stitch or chain. So a popcorn on this pattern is to do 4 double crochets in that one stitch, and we're going to take our hook out and look at our work and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go in to the top of that double crochet, grab our loop, we're going to pull it through. That's a popcorn in this pattern. We're not going to chain 1, we're going to immediately put a double crochet in the next chain space. And put a double crochet in the last chain. Okay, that's our row 1 of our beard. We're going to move on to row 2. Turn, chain 1, single crochet in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On to row 3, we're going to chain 3. Turn your work. We are going to put a popcorn in our next stitch. So just place 4 double crochets in your next stitch. Take your hook out, look at your work, count your 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip your crochet hook into the top of that double crochet. Put your loop back on your hook and pull through. Put a double crochet in your next stitch. In our next stitch, we're going to do another popcorn. So we are doing 4 double crochets. Taking our hook out, looking at the work, 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch into the top of your first double crochet there. Put the loop on your hook and pull through, and put a double crochet in your last stitch. If at any time you're getting too loose here, go ahead and just pull and tighten up on your tension, and that should bring in your work so that you're not getting crazy loose on your work. Moving on to the next row, we're going to chain 1, single crochet in each across. chain 3, turn your work. We're going to put 3 double crochets in this same stitch as our chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Take your hook out, slip into your top of your chain 3 that you started on, grab your loop, pull through, double crochet in the next stitch. I'm going to put a popcorn in this stitch, so do 4 double crochet in it. 2, 3, 4, count back, 1, 2, 3, 4, double crochet in your next, and put a popcorn in your last. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we're going to chain 1. I'm going to grab my body and see. It's definitely smaller than the other ones that I made. See if it's going to fit. It sure looks like it's going to fit. It's a little bit smaller, but we're going to go around the edge, so I'm going to say A-okay. So on this, we're going to put a single crochet all the way around the piece. So I already chained 1. I'm going to go ahead and turn my work. I'm going to go back in to that stitch and single crochet around the piece. Now along the sides here, you're just going to have to go in where it works. You want to probably put 2 there on the corner so that we get a rounding. Don't want to do 3 because I don't want it to be, you know, too square. But we just want to put the hook in where it's comfortable, where it won't make too little stitches or too many stitches. Just to give it some structure when we put it on our gnome body. Getting to a corner here, so I'm going to put 2 here. Corner again. I'm going to put 2 in there. Yeah, it doesn't really want to go in there. There we go. I feel like skipping that would have made it gather too much. So I didn't want to skip it, but I also didn't want to fight it, so. Okay, we are back up to the corner where I started and turned. And go ahead, slip stitch into that last, and I'm going to leave a good length of tail, 6 inches or so. I'm going to pull through so it doesn't go anywhere. Take a look at it. So we have 3 popcorns, 2 popcorns, and 1 popcorn. That is what we have for our last, or that is what we have for our beard. I'm going to cut the yarn on the body, and I'm going to slip stitch to the beginning, chain 1 here to finish off my body. I'm going to push the body through so that I can weave that in, because I do not want my magic circle coming open and I want to secure it. Did I mention how much I like this yarn? I want to buy like 20 of these denim tweeds. I love this color. It is the softest too. I know, just like with any other yarn, some are softer than others. You know, just from skein to skein, you will get softer skeins. Some not as soft. Working with them though, for the most part, I enjoyed every color. I didn't say, ooh, this one's bad, or they were all very good. Very impressed with this yarn. Very affordable for anybody. Pick up a crochet hook or some knitting needles there. Haven't tried them yet, so I don't know how good they are, but you are much better off than I was when I started if you start knitting or crocheting with this yarn, because it is much more enjoyable than some of the stuff I used when I started. Now this doesn't matter as much. The inside will not show, but I just thought I would weave in the end because why not? Okay, so you can tell that I keep looking at the back of the work. That's where my seam is. That's where the beard's gonna go. So we're gonna cover that up with our beard. Now I'm gonna weave this one in really quick because I'm not going to use it to attach. I'm just gonna use the one. And this also doesn't matter as much. This isn't something that is going to get washed. And if it does, it will be spot washed, because you will have, if you're putting weights in it, you will have weights in it. You don't want to wash that. Plus they shouldn't be getting too dirty because they just sit on the table, right? Okay. So we just place our beard here. We want to make sure that when we are sewing this on, that we do not cover our edge of our body up, okay? Oops, I don't need the crochet hook, I need the needle. So I hope this is enough. Geez, I did about 15 inches, so I'm hoping that that is enough. I think it will be. So how I do it, I just go right underneath of that stitch area just to get it on there, but we don't want to interfere with those stitches there on the edge. You want to make sure that as you're sewing it on, that you keep it straight. You want to not make it look silly on the front, because that's what you will be looking at. So you want to be careful of how you're sewing it on so that it's not looking comical in any way. And this will feel weird if you haven't done amigurumi, if you have not sewed anything on a project before. This is going to feel strange, but it's just literally sewing something on your project. It's not any kind of magic. I like to hide my stitches along the edge, as you can see there. I like doing that, but you can't pull too tight and it can't be too loose. You got to be mindful of what you're doing. Also be mindful of where you're putting in your needle. Sorry if the camera just moved, I feel like it did. Make sure that you're not going like this far out, because then Then when you come up, you will have a string showing. So you don't want that. Make sure that you're always putting your yarn needle back behind here. So you can't see it on the side here. So that when you sew it, it's not showing. Back when I used to make a lot of baby items, dog sets, owl sets, anything you can imagine, dinosaurs, Ninja Turtles, whatever needed sewing. I learned that fairly quickly to hide your stitches. Otherwise you get to redo them or try to hide them with that same color yarn. This might not be showing up in the camera too well. I am attempting to get it there. Back if you feel like you missed something. A lot of times I will gently pull to see, like this corner is really loose to me, so I'm going to go back in there. Don't like that. Oh, my hands are so rough. I was working in the yard today. It always gets them very, very dry. Okay, I'm gonna go back this way, and since you won't be looking at the inside, it does not matter what it looks like on the inside. Don't worry about that. You're going to fill this. You're never going to look on the inside unless you're gonna make this, I don't know, a bowl or something in your house. Do not worry about what the inside looks like. It does not matter. Trying to make sure that I am staying straight on my gnome so we don't have a crooked beard, because that's weird. It's pretty forgiving though. When you start stuffing it, that's going to change things as well. If you overstuff it, it's going to look silly. Unless you like that look, and then it's fantastic. It's your gnome. You do with it however you want. I also think the way I did the hat is a little bit kind of like a witch hat, which is kind of cool. So you could make a witch gnome out of this pattern as well. Oops, catching on some popcorns there. I don't know, might have got it a little crooked. It's fine. I think for the most part these edges are fine, but I'm going to go back in, secure them a little better, just in case they get pulled on down the road. Don't think they will in my office. No one comes into my office. My dog does not mess with my yarn. He gets very nervous when he gets in my yarn and gets tangled in it. It's pretty funny. It's adorable. He all feels guilty about it and whatnot because he's been yelled at about it before for getting into it when he's done it on purpose. We've had words, I'll just say that. So he is very careful. So I know he's not going to mess with my gnome. Okay, I'm gonna finish off. I'm gonna flip this and just kind of run the needle, because we got a beard there. It's going to cover up anything that we're doing. And if anything I'm doing is not something you would do, just do it your way. I never claim to be an expert on anything. I'm just an expert on my own opinion, right? Okay, so we got the beard, got the body. Now we're needing the nose and we're needing some arms. Now let's talk about the arms a little bit. So Sino needs long arms because he has to cover his eyes. Here, no, his arms matter less as far as length because he's just covering his ears, so he's shorter. And Speak No has to have longer arms like Sino. So you see the difference in length there? So we're going to create 2 arms for each gnome in different lengths, 2 different sizes. So Sino will have long ones, Hear No will have shorter ones, and Speak No will have longer ones, just like these. So you need 4 identical arms that are longer, and I will crochet them for you so that you can see them. We're using our body color. Okay, so we'll start with the longer ones. We are going to, let me look at my notes here. Pretty sure it's 10. Yes, we are going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook and all the way across. Get up here in the camera. Wow, an hour went by already. Chain 1, turn your work, single crochet in that first stitch and each across. We're going to do that for See No and Speak No. We're going to do 8, no. For See No and Speak No, we are going to do 13 rows. So each row you'll chain 1, single crochet in the same and all the way across. For 13 rows. I am not going to make 13 rows. I'm going to go ahead and do the 8. 8 is for Hear No. So we are going to be doing 4 of the ones that have 13 rows and 2 of the ones that have 8 rows. I'm not making a Hear No, I'm just making a basic gnome, and for a basic gnome, 8 should be good. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 2 more. So this would be row 7. this would be row 8. If you're doing Hear No, you only go until row 8. If you're doing See No or Speak No, you will be going to row 13. Once you get to your designated row, we will be switching colors to your whatever color it is that you're using for skin. I'll chain 1, turn your work, single crochet in the same, and each across. Second row of the color for skin, we are going to not chain 1 and turn our work, not put a single crochet in this first stitch, but in the next stitch, and across. And we are going to repeat that row one more time. Turn your work, do not chain 1, do not put a single crochet in the first space, put a single crochet in the next stitch, and a single crochet in each across the row. Then we are going to cut our yarn, because that is our hand. Leave a little bit of a tail because you need to sew it together. Pull it through. We need to detach from our other. We need a length of yarn here. I'm gonna go with another foot. I know that's too much, but that's okay to have too much than to have too little. You will fold your work, and that's how your arm is going to look. I always weave in the extra ends here because they will be in the way, and we don't want it to come unraveled when we are sewing up the sides. So for this, I just run along where they are connected there, and then come back with that. See how if I go into the next stitch down, it won't unravel what I just did. See that right there? But I'm sure you know how to weave in your ends if you've been crocheting for any length of time. And then I'm going to do the smaller tail, one I started with, because I don't need that one either. I usually go in the row up, because the same row gets to be awkward, and this is getting sewn together, so it does not matter. And then cut that off. Now I will fold it in half. I have a blob of fuzz. I'm gonna fold it this way. Why not? It does not matter. I start at the ends, or the side to side, wherever the yarn is coming from, and then I just kind of weave in and out. This is a hand, so it doesn't need to look any kind of particular great way. It just shouldn't look messy. Going in and out here and there. thought it was raining. I was excited. It is not. Okay, so at the end here, I'm just going to run the needle through the hand and then dip back in. And then one more time. Just kind of put it up in there somewhere. So if you want, you can cut that yarn off, or you can keep this yarn to attach your yarn, or you can keep this yarn to attach to your body. And I'm going to do that because it's easier to do that than to reattach more yarn. This one we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to sew the sides together to make an arm. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Just gonna sew each side together. If you've ever sewn anything in your life, it should be a breeze. If you have not, just kind of put the needle in each side as if you're like maybe tying a shoe, and gently sew up the side. Whatever method that you have used in the past, go ahead and use that. It does not matter. Whatever works for you. Now at the end here, I just kind of gently go back and forth. I do not cut the end off because this needs to be attached to the body. Usually have it on one side though, so that I can start on one side. So that is one arm. Go ahead and make as many arms as you need for your projects. I'm going to make one more arm and I will be right back to you. All right, I have my arms made. I am going to make a nose. So I highly suggest that you use a magic circle for the nose because it will cinch better, but it's up to you. This is the magic circle. Chain 1. And we need 8 single crochets in our ring. Cinch it. Slip stitch to your first single crochet. Chain 1. Put 2 single crochets in that same chain 1 space. Now if you need to mark your first stitch, go ahead. Such a time trying to pick that up off my table. 1 single crochet in the next, 2 single crochet in the next, and then 1, and then 2, and then 1, and then 2, and then 1. Stitch to your first single crochet, chain 1, put 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. 12 single crochets, slip stitch to your first single crochet, leave a long tail, cut your yarn. I like to leave this turned inside out because I do not like the way this looks, so I like to make it this way. I think it's cuter. I need to weave in the end. But again, if you like yours a certain way, do yours a certain way. That's the beauty of making our own projects. Turn it inside out and just run the needle the other way so that it is secure. Again, this is not going to get played with. At least in my house, it's not going to get played with, so I am not worrying about the ends too much as far as security. So now this tail we're going to use to put on the body. And on each gnome, no matter which one it is, the nose goes on this middle popcorn. So it goes right here, and we just attach it like we've been doing everything else. We just sew it on. It's also easier to hide the stitches when it's turned inside out because it's so bumpy. Come back up through. Just want to make sure that you stay on the beard, and that way it won't interfere when we make the hat. And sew it on just like you did the beard, just making sure that you're not leaving any stitches that will be showing, because that will make you sad if it bothers you. And just poke back down in. It's a little loose on that one, so I'm going to go back in this one. Maybe one or two around again. Okay, that should be good. And then just flip it over and run your needle along the back here. And again, it does not matter. You have a beard covering that. So unless you pierce the beard, it does not matter where you put the end in. Or if you weave it in at all, you just want to make sure it's secure. So then you have a nose. All right. Then we attach the arms because you want everything attached before you start your hat. So where are my arms? Here they are. So with the arms, if you are making the C-no, you want to position your hands so that they are covering the eye area, which would be like this. Okay? If you're making the speak no, you want to put them down here where a mouth would be, like this. Let me show you mine. Like that. Okay. If you're making a C-no, just got to cover up his eyes a bit. If you're making the here-no, you want to put it just up where ears would be. We don't have ears on our project, so you just want to place it up towards where you think the ear would be. I'm not doing any of those, so what am I gonna do? I think I'll just make the arms come out. Yeah, I think that's good. I think I'll just wrap them around there. So all you do is you just sew the arm on, just like you did the beard and the nose. And with the extra string on the hand, if you left that, just attach that so that the hand doesn't go anywhere. And if you did not leave that, go ahead and just reattach some yarn that matches. It's very easy. Just sew it on. I do go on the back edge first and get that secure. And then I do go on each of the other edges. I'll show you. I just go down in here and there so that they stay on close to the body. And since we're using the same yarn, it hides very, very well. Just poke up here in the middle. Just want to make sure our limbs stay on. And crochet is so awesome this way. You can hide your stitches or your sewing stitches so easily in it. And just finish off however you want. When you feel like it's secure, just turn your work like I have been doing. Maybe be a little more careful here, although it is the same color, so that doesn't really matter. Just to secure it, I want to make sure it doesn't come loose at any point from handling. Snip that off. And then the end, I just secure the end with a few stitches. If you're doing around the eyes and the mouth, just be mindful that you're going around the whole hand to keep the whole hand on. Since I'm not doing that, I'm just gonna do what I just did with the arm and just kind of tack it down. Because he's just gonna sit on my desk and be adorable. I'm running out of yarn here, I better quit. Turn it back and just run the yarn through some stitches here so it doesn't show on the other side. Yeah, I got it running with the arm so it doesn't show. I'm gonna poke this through one more time and feed this back into the eye. So it feels more secure. And do that with my other arm as well. All right, so now we have to start thinking about our hat. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. The way I designed the pattern is to make the hat look pronounced from the body. So there's a lot of definition there. You can tell the hat begins right there at the beard and body line. It is up to you if you want to do it this way. I think, in my opinion, it's adorable, and that's the way I'm going to show you on here. If you do not want to do it my way, do it whatever way you would like. But just know that the hat will be less pronounced if you do it a different way. So if you attach the yarn and you just start going in rounds, you won't have the brim look on your hat. And that's fine. Whatever you want, you do you, okay? But I'm going to do the hat the way I designed it, and that is, we start with, I'm gonna do blue just to show you, because if I don't, I think this red will be very interesting on camera. It's very fuzzy. It might not work. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the blue. The blue is called Robin. It is just active. I'm gonna use it so you can see better. Now it's a, whether or not I take it out and redo it is another thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and use the just active instead of the just blush. But I really want to do the just blush. I just don't think it's gonna show up in the tutorial, so I'm just gonna show you in a simpler yarn so you can see the stitches better. Okay, so we take the end of the skein on the outside and we take the inside of the skein, and we have 2 strands of yarn, and we are going to start that way, and we're going to start back here. So stick your hook in and put the 2 strands together. Now I'm going to show you how to do the crab stitch, or the reverse single crochet. And it's not hard, it's just weird to wrap your mind around, but I love it. So I'm going to chain 1 to secure the yarn because it's going to slip out if I don't. And it will feel like it's too much yarn in each stitch, and that's okay because we want it to look that way. So we look at the stitch behind. Normally we would look this way. We're going to look behind. We are going to make sure that our yarn stays on our hook. We're going to put our hook in the stitch behind. Yarn over, or scoop the yarn. See how I did that? Yarn over again and go through them. See, that's not hard at all. It's just a little awkward. So making sure that your strands stay on your hook. Do a single crochet, but in reverse. Go in the stitch, pull up the yarn, go over, go through. Go in the stitch, pull up the yarn, yarn over, go through. We're going to do that in each stitch all the way around. And this is the only round we are doing with double yarn. Next round is just regular 1 strand. So if this hurts your hands, like it can hurt mine, it will be over soon. I've actually had this project done for a couple of days now. I just was letting my hands rest because amigurumis tend to be difficult on me. So now you're seeing why we needed to keep those stitches clear from the beard. That's because we need to make sure we have stitches to go into. Now when we get to the beard, there's a couple of things you can do, and it's up to you. I've done it both ways. You can pick up some of the yarn, if you would like, from the beard to make it a little more cohesive instead of defined. So if you wanted to, you could, I'll do the normal neck stitch. But if you wanted to, you could pick up some of the light gray. See how this light gray is kind of sitting here? If you wanted to, you could go through some of the light gray and go through your stitch there. It's up to you. It does not matter either way what you do. It's just a different look. You would be attaching the beard to the hat, and that's something you can do. I left all my stitches very plain to see, so I am going to go into my stitches. We have one on there, so I lost some along the way. Okay, so now find the yarn that is your center pole, so that you know that you're going to keep working with that one and not work with the other one. I have a mess here, so I have to find mine. I think I'm just going to snip them because that would make my life easier right now, instead of untangling all of this yarn I got going on here. Okay, now we want to, I detached my yarn, so if you did not detach your yarn, you would want to slip stitch into your next stitch, yarn over, and then pull through. Well, you wouldn't be able to pull through. You would just slip stitch. So slip stitch into your beginning stitch, and then make sure that the yarn that you're picking up and going to continue to use is the one that is coming from inside of your skein. Okay. I cut mine, so I'm going to pull through and reattach. Gonna go ahead and weave in these ends just to get them out of my way. Since this is like a wrapping around, just go ahead and wrap around where it looks good. Push it through to the inside. And then I like to run the needle along the brim we just made, just to secure it. And since it's in the back, no one should be looking at it. But that is because I finished my project. I cut the yarn. I finished that off, so my yarn was tangled. You do not need to do this if you did not do that. And this is the other end, so I'm just weaving that in really quickly. You do not need to do this. It's up to you. But since I'm doing the other one, I thought I would do this one. Okay, so the next step is to get going on her hat so that it can start going up. And how we do that, so if your yarn was attached, which mine is not, but if it was attached, we're right here, right? So then we need to grab one of the loops, and it's kind of hard to see on this yarn because it's a little dark, but you can see that there are loops right here underneath of your brim. And if that doesn't work for you, go ahead and grab one of the side ones, you know, one of the single crochet sides. But what I like to go into is the loops that are right below the brim we just made. It's kind of like the third loop on that stitch. So we are going to single crochet in each of those. So chain one if you have disconnected your yarn, which you probably didn't. Single crochet in that first one, find your next one, put it on your hook, single crochet. We're going to do that all the way around. Now, like I said, if you cannot find the exact thing that I'm talking about, find whatever loop on that stitch is available and go into it. You should have 40 stitches. That is what our body ended with, was 40 stitches. I'm using my fingernail to help get the loops on the hook. See, now this one I can't see one of those loops, so I'm just gonna go in this one that I can see. And that's fine. I mean, there's not, as long as you've got something that is right around that area of that stitch, you're gonna be fine. And it is a little finicky. Like I said, this is probably the most difficult part of the project, is the brim of the hat and starting the hat. Everything else is pretty easy. I'm gonna count how many stitches I have right now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So I have 25. Okay, I have 40 stitches, so I'm going to slip stitch into the beginning single crochet. And yes, there was another spot where I could put a stitch, but I must have put an extra up here, and that's fine. That does not matter one bit. I can fill that in when I weave in my end. So there is the beginning of the hat. We will now turn our work. So we are looking at the outside of our gnome. And we are going to start with a chain 1. And for the next, let me check my notes, for the next 3 rows, I believe, we just do single crochets in each stitch. Yes, 3 rounds, single crochet each stitch, including this first one. We're going to put a single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and we're going to do that for 3 rounds, including the same beginning space. So should have 40 single crochets all the way around. Okay, once you finish those first 3 rounds, then we need to start decreasing. Want to slip stitch into your beginning single crochet. Oops, my notes are off. So we are going to start decreasing. Right now we have 40 stitches in the round. We're going to decrease now, and at the end of this round we will have 36. So start the same way, chain 1, single crochet in the same space. Did I chain 1? No, chain 1, single crochet in same space. Put your stitch marker in that first single crochet if it will fit, and then you need to single crochet in the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we're going to decrease, single crochet, decrease. So we're gonna single crochet 2 together, stick our hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, go in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through all 3. That's a single crochet, decrease. Single crochet 2 together. My yarn is fighting with me. Okay, now we're going to single crochet in the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we need to single crochet 2 together. Single crochet in the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Single crochet 2 together. Single crochet in the next 8. 7, 8. Single crochet 2 together. Slip stitch into your beginning single crochet. Next round we are going to single crochet in every stitch round. We're going to do that for round 5 and 6. So the next 2 rounds we are going to single crochet in each stitch. We will always chain 1 and put a single crochet in that very first and same stitch as the chain 1, and then we will mark our stitch, and then we will go all the way around doing single crochets in each stitch. So I'll meet back up with you after I do this round and 1 more round. All right, we are going to move on to round 7. Round 7, we are going to slip stitch into our beginning single crochet. We are going to chain 1, something on my yarn. We're going to chain 1, single crochet in that first stitch. Going to mark that stitch. We're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to do a decrease, single crochet 2 together, and now we're going to do a single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we are going to decrease, single crochet 2 together, and then repeat that, single crochet in the next 4. We are going to repeat this all the way around. At the end of round 7, we will have 30 stitches. At the end of the round, you will single crochet 2 together, slip stitch to your beginning single crochet, we move on to row 8. Row 8, we're going to do a single crochet in each stitch. So at the end of round 8, we will have 30 stitches. Slip stitch into your beginning single crochet, chain 1. Round 9, we're going to decrease again. We are going to do a single crochet in the same stitch as our chain 1, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to single crochet 2 together, and now we're going to put a single crochet in the next 4. And then single crochet 2 together. We're going to repeat that all the way around. Single crochet in the next 4. And single crochet 2 together. Slip stitch to the first single crochet and chain 1. That gives us 24 stitches for round 9. We are going to do a single crochet in the next round, so just single crochet all the way around. Okay, so at the end of that round, we still have 24 stitches. We do need to start thinking about stuffing our gnome. He has to be filled up because he is going to not stand up too well unless we fill him with something. So at the beginning of the video, I showed you rocks that I got from Dollar Tree. These are those. They're smaller, so they could poke through. What I have been doing for my other gnomes was to put them in a plastic bag like this, and then put them in the gnome. I am going to use something a little different. I do have a yarn bowl here that's actually an old punch bowl. And back when the fish, remember the fishes? Everyone was making goldfishes. Yeah, I did that. And I used to use used to use these for in the fish bowls. I'm going to use them in my gnome. They are too big. They're also not pointy, so they will not poke through. So I'm going to put them in here. I'll mute it because it's going to be noisy. Okay, he's got some glass discs in there. So then I'm going to grab some filling. I'm going to fill him up until we get up to the top here because we still have to close. But it's a lot easier to fill when there's a little bit of a gap here, because otherwise you have to like stick a pencil down in there to get it to even out correctly. It's just easier to do with your fingers. Okay, that should be good. Don't want it to interfere with my crocheting. He is so cute. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Okay, for this round, we are going to decrease again. This is actually round 11. We are going to single crochet in that same stitch. put our marker in that stitch. We are going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to single crochet 2 together. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 6. And then single crochet 2 together, and then repeat that around. Single crochet in the next 6, single crochet 2 together. I'll be right back. Okay, at the end of round 11 we have 21 stitches. Round 12 we will just do single crochet all the way around in each stitch, including the first. I'll meet up with you in just a minute when I get my round done. Alright, for round 13 we're going to decrease again. We are going to chain 1, single crochet in that same space, put a stitch marker in it. Now we're going to single crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet 2 together, now we're going to single crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet 2 together, crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet 2 together. At the end of round 13 we have 18 stitches. You want to slip stitch into the beginning single crochet, round 14 we are just going to do single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So chain 1, single crochet in the same space, single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and I will meet you back in like 2 seconds. Slip stitch into the first single crochet, chain 1. For round 15 we are going to decrease one more time, and after this decrease we are going to stuff a little more stuffing in. So we are going to single crochet in that same stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3, and then single crochet 2 together, single crochet in the next 4, single crochet 2 together, crochet in the next 4. Single crochet 2 together. So the end of round 15, we have 15 stitches. We need to fill up some more stuffing because we are getting to the point where it is going to get pretty interesting if we don't. Okay, round 16, we are going to single crochet in each stitch, including that first one that we chained 1 in. So single crochet in each stitch. Round 17, we are going to decrease. We are doing, this will be our, almost our last decrease. Chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch. Single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet 2 together, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet 2 together, crochet, single crochet, single crochet 2 together, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. Okay, at the end of round 17, you should have 12 stitches. Round 18, we're going to single crochet around, slip stitch into that beginning single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch, and around. Going to add a little more stuffing. The end of round 18 that we just did, we still have 12 stitches. This next round will be our last decrease. Okay, for round 19, we are going to chain 1 and single crochet 2 together all the way around. So no single crochets in between. This will decrease our stitches by half. This puts us at 6 stitches at the end. A little difficult trying to do this on camera. And then slip stitch to your first single crochet. Need to cut your yarn just a little bit of a length, maybe 4 or 5 inches. Go through. And then to finish off, simply go in like you would a drawstring bag. Just go in each stitch. And cinch it up just to close that hole. Now when I'm done weaving in my end, I usually take the needle and I push up on some of the fill because we didn't have the opportunity to fill the tip here. So I just take my needle and kind of push up on some of that fiber fill to get it up into the end. Just a little bit, and then fashion it as you wish. Such a cute little guy. Let me sit him up here with my other 3. There he is. Oh, he's so cute. Too cute. So he is just Mr. Guy Gnome. I mean, he's seeing and hearing and speaking all the evil, I think. But he's still pretty darn cute. So I'm gonna finish this up tomorrow. My battery is almost dead, so I will continue this tomorrow. It will be a split second for you guys. Okay, so that wraps up the gnome video. I was just going to touch on a couple of points here. When you're decreasing on the hat, the stitch count is not crucial. If you are within a stitch or 2 and you're just decreasing and then doing the single crochet rounds in between, it does not matter your stitch count. It's not like it's not going to make or break anything. Each one is going to be slightly different anyways. You can see mine are not all identical, and that's just the beauty of handmade. You won't get the same product even if it's the same person with the same, same everything. You're human. You're not a machine, so it's not going to produce exactly the same each time. So don't beat yourself up if you're not getting the correct stitch count. It's fine. The other thing is, I was thinking about it, and if you wanted to not do the reverse single crochet around the hat there, you could just double the yarn and do regular crochet, and then it would still be pronounced. I did not try that, but I thought about that after. So I know this is the end of the video, and if you have already made your gnome, you've already made that choice. But if you're just watching the video and deciding what you're going to do, that is an option, just to do doubling the yarn with single crochet around that first round of the hat. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I had a lot of fun making these guys. If you have any questions, please ask. I don't mind any questions. Just leave them in the comments. You can also email me. I am at spiffyhandmade@gmail.com. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. And until next time, bye.